I am just trying to get access to a court of record common law in the federal district court. And I received a couple days ago a notice, which is very apparent to me that they have reclassified me as a plaintiff and the other people as defendants, and it's minutes of the court, minute order in chambers. So even though I have put 2 written documents in to switch it over, they're still not doing so.
Documents in.
I'm sorry?
What 2 documents did you put in? And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you don't see it on paper doesn't mean that it's that matter of being moved over to the right side of the court. The clerk's aware of it. You're saying you don't see it on paper? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that according to this document I received from the court, United States District Court instead of Federal District Court, it's got minutes of the court. It has us classified instead of as claimants as plaintiffs, instead of them as respondents as defendants, and it has the judge, the clerk, and I don't need a judge. Okay, I'm just asking them to be able to do my summons, and I've asked them to correct it from this administrative side of the court over to the common law court of record, and they're not doing it.
What makes you think they're not doing it?
Because they're classifying us as plaintiffs and defendants, which is not the case.
Well, what I'm saying, whether they call you an apple or banana, you're still a man or a woman. What I'm saying to you, what are you trying to move through this court?
I'm trying to move a claim for our land and for our land and home for them to take their hands off it. They're still trying to take it. We had sheriffs here again on Monday, and they are just ignoring the fact that we have quiet title in a different court and by other processes, and continuing to move against us physically as well as against our property. And the claim is that we hold a quiet title claim established by verified court, public, and published record to the private land and house, and that they have caused us removal under threat, duress, and coercion, and breaking closed via forceful entry and removal by eviction, evidencing trespass and bad faith.
Well, let me try to catch up on a little bit what's going on here. What's going on is that you're trying to move a paper world into a common law court, right?
A paper world? I'm sorry?
You're trying to move your paperwork into a common law court, right?
Not necessarily.
You're saying the common law, okay, if the common law is basically unspoken, it's basically unwritten. Okay, it's basically what's customary to the people within your community. Okay, let me make it simple. Instead of saying the quiet title and all that stuff, I'm not even going down there.
Okay.
Say, does everybody in this community know that I live here on this farm? Like when I first moved here, a couple of months after, the deputy just knocked on the door, and I let him walk around the house and in the house, and I guess you just say hi, meet and greet, but he's probably trying to figure out who's this crazy guy with all these dogs and cats running around up on top of this mountain. Is he making crystal meth in here, growing pot? What is he? What's he doing? So I let him walk around the house and just like neighborly, hi, how you doing? Now everybody knows, it's a well-established fact that this guy lives here and who I am. Okay? So see, that's more law. So now when I move court, I say, and somebody like a bank wants to say that this mountain or this farm where I live on, it's ours. I can move it into a common law trial by jury and say, who lives here? They say, oh, you do, Carl. There you go. Has anybody else ever lived here but me? He's like, well, yeah, I guess about 40, 50 years ago. I'm like, okay. There you go. Well, now you're trying to do but see, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the best of both worlds. What you're trying to do is you're trying to use their written laws and their documents and their procedures that all these lawyers established and all these governments and all these officials established, and now you're trying to drag it into a common law court. It's not common law. You're dragging in their statute world into a common law court. Now you're going to diminish your common law standing into that of a statute. It's written. You're following a qualified procedure. You're following all these procedures, boom, 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 that somebody else established. That's not just like Granny and the Beverly Hillbillies walking in and saying, that's my damn mountain. I've been there my whole life. Everybody knows me around here. It's my great-grandpappy's. That's common law. Anybody else who wants to, because everybody knows that 99% of the land on this planet right now has been now claimed under a land patent scheme by title companies and banks. So now every piece of planet basically on planet Earth has now got a land patent. See, this is how Granny Beverly Hillbillies would destroy these clowns. Thank God we got a common law country. She'd say, my great-grandpappy, I don't care what title company in Brussels or the UN or the United Nations or even in my state capital. I don't care what quiet title they made. I don't care what piece of paper they got land patent. Oh, it's called land patents, but you guys call it patents. So I'll call it patents to help you guys out, but it's really called land patents. If you want to play this nonsense with these people, and they believe, like, well, now all of a sudden we're the banks and we're going to make every property on the planet is now going to be called land patents and patents, and we're going to claim everything as ours. All you need is one little old lady like Granny in Beverly Hills who says, I don't know nothing about no damn land patents and all that silly quiet power, but what I do know is this is my land. And everybody knows that I've lived here, my pappy lived there, and I don't know nobody, nothing. If somebody claims I own something, well, hell, let them come in this court and make their claim. There you go. Is that man going to appear in court? Lawyers can't appear in the common law court of record. Granny's going to be a slam dunk. And all you guys are going to be like, oh, my God, how did Granny win? What do you mean, how did Granny win? You're going to say she's an idiot. Yeah, she is. She's an idiot like me. She knows to not get involved with this crazy Looney Tune world of theirs. That's idiot doesn't mean that. It just means you're incompetent. You have no standing, that you're not competent in a certain thing. And I'm not competent in this silly, land patent schemes that they got going on now. You guys just got done with some mortgage scheme that took everybody's house under. Now you guys are getting involved in some land patent scheme that the banks around the world are going to get you guys all involved in. It's just one scheme after another. And all you need is a normal common lady like Granny who just says, this is my land. And I'll drag you into any court, and I'll like to see you try to get me off of my land. And she's going to win. If you hold it in common law. If you hold it in their world, you're going to lose. So like I said, do you want to just get down like little old lady Granny and say, I'll drag you into any court here, and I'd love to see you take me off my land. I'd love to see an attorney testify. He doesn't know who's been here. That attorney doesn't know that grandpappy dug the first well here, and, everybody came to town. And no, he doesn't know anything. All he has is a piece of paper that says the bank is claiming that. That piece of paper is forgery. That piece of paper I want to wipe my butt with. Granny would go nuts. She said, that piece of paper, she'd spit on it. She says, I don't care about your paper. This is a common law land. There is no such thing as like paper in a common law land. But you guys want to keep trying to drag paper and then in the same breath say it's common law. Okay, which one is it? English common law has tons of papers. English common law, yes, is a paper land. Not America. Well, not where I live. Not the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
It's no paper here. So you people are getting wrapped up in this paper. And that's why I always say to you guys, why do you think that Trinzi versus Pagliaro case, a real estate thing about land, that no attorney ever came forward? The judge gave the judgment to like the bank. And then the guy reminded him, hey, did any man come forward and make a claim for that land? No, a lawyer for the bank did. So the Supreme Court overturned him. So like I said, if you want to really understand my stuff, well, quiet title and all that other stuff, you want to talk about it for hours and deeds and absolute deeds and continual deeds? Oh yeah, I could talk about deeds all day. A big deal. It's a paper world. And they're going to always have some way in paper to beat your piece of paper. There's one piece of paper on top of another. I want to say, you know what? Stop all this paper because they're burying us with paper. There's one scheme, Ponzi scheme after another scheme. You got to stop. These people don't want to work for a living. They just want to keep pushing paper around while hard, decent working people are sweating and breaking their butt to make an income. And these guys are pushing a paper world around on us. All you have to do is say, thank God, man, these people back in the 1776-ish decided to make a simple constitution that we could all abide by. It says that, this land is a common law land. And no bank is allowed to own land in this country. That's a guarantee because the land and the people were the same thing. Your mama ate the grass and the berries and the roots and the potatoes that came from the land. Without the land, you would not be here. You would not exist. The banks can't own people. We, the people, and the land were one. The king and the land are one. The king and his people are one. The king represents us. We are the king. We are the clay. God got Adam from where? The soil. He took a bunch of clay and he breathed life into Adam. We're from the land. These banks can't take our land with a piece of paper. People forgot the Bible. Say, hey, wait a second. And I'm not a Bible thumper here. You never hear me going off Bible, but I can if you guys want me to, but I don't want to. There's plenty of other guys that do that nonsense. But this is where all our laws come from in this country. This country existed 300 years before the Constitution. People don't forget that there was 300 years worth of law established in this country based upon people like pilgrims who just wanted to come here and be left the hell alone. So we were here in 1500, and the Constitution was signed, 1800? That's 300 years of people living here, trying to sweat it out and struggle it out and realize, hey, you know what, we don't want banks from Europe taking our stuff. We don't want anybody, trespassing on us anymore. This is our land. And they said in 1800, well, let's put it in a piece of paper once and for all and sign it. And there you go. And now we can rely upon that. We got it right. If the amount of controversy worth $20, and we could do it for a trial by jury, and we get all the little old ladies in our community to sit on a jury and say those bankers got to go, and those bankers got to go. And there's no court in the United States that could overturn, rehear, or retry the trial by jury under the common law. That's the Seventh Amendment. Or they call it the Article 9, but don't worry about it. You guys just, Seventh Amendment. The first two articles weren't ratified, but that's silly. But don't worry about that.
I have tried to claim that we have been denied due process, twice denied trial by jury per Article 7 in the Bill of Rights.
Well,
and yet,
how do you believe you were denied due process?
Because I demanded and paid for a trial by jury in 2 different courts, and I never received it.
And when they didn't give it to you, did you sue the clerk of the court, and did you sue the chief judge for interfering with your rights to convene a trial by jury in a public building? You denied access to a public building. Did you sue those people who denied you access to the public building?
No, I did not.
There you go. Start there. Sue them. Sue them for interfering with your right to access a public building. Just because you weren't wearing a suit and a tie, you could go in that public library. Just because you weren't wearing a suit and a tie, or you wanted to wear your hat, didn't mean they could kick you out of the library. Just because you weren't wearing a suit and a tie and a hat, doesn't mean they could kick you out of a public courthouse. They can't do it. So, you guys got to start putting these people back on their heels and saying, hey, you want to start messing with us? We're going to start messing back. We're going to start suing you.
Well, I don't mind adding the unlawful detainer judge to my suit. I have the head of Fannie Mae on it, but that's going to be a difficult person to serve. The attorney is 450 miles away because our state is so large, so that summons is going to be difficult as well. And then the local person that I'm getting the we're getting the flack from to accompany the sheriffs out and kick us out twice now, going on 3 times, going on 4 times, is a local realtor. And of course, the people that she's hiring to come catalog our stuff so they can sell it off. Right. And so I'm in a push-to-shove situation here. I feel like I'm not getting access to the common law court in the federal district court, and I was looking for them to actually sign an injunction order to protect us against this sort of nonsense, and that, of course, has not been forthcoming either. And
the problem is, like I said to him a million times, you guys are trying to play attorney. You're using words like injunction. You're using words like quiet title.
Yeah.
If you want to think that you can outsmart these people by using their words, you're going to get clobbered. Okay? This is what I'm trying to say. You can master this stuff for the next 500 years, and you are still going to lose. You got to stop using their words, and you got to start understanding how to, because you can see the inevitable is coming. No matter what you're trying to do, you realize you're not Donald Trump. You realize you're not a billionaire, and you realize you're going to lose. The Trump that your great-grandfather gave you was a common law court of record. And if anybody interferes with that right, whether it's a constitutional right, a statutory right, or a common law right, every single person in that courthouse understands that you can sue them and take all of their stuff away, all their personal belongings away. You could take the court clerk's house, a car, a paycheck, a pension. You could take everything from her, and so does that judge. They all understand it. I have the court memo that says if you don't believe that we're providing you with enough coverage to protect yourselves from suits when people say and sue you for interfering with their statute, constitutional, or common law rights, you may provide your own private insurance to cover you when you're going to be sued. And you will be sued eventually by somebody when somebody claims that you interfere with their rights by accessing this court. They're going to sue you, and they have the right to sue you. And if you lose, we recommend that you get private insurance because we'll only cover you for whatever X amount of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
All know they could be sued. They're not dumb. They all know they could be sued. So everybody, so they could, you guys could be all saying, well, you know, who's going to hear them out of blah, 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 blah. There's settlements all the time. You hear lawsuit settlements all the time. If the lawyers would just running wild through this country, every single person would lose, and there would be no such thing as a settlement. They'll make a settlement. So like I said, it's just that people just, you're trying to mix both worlds. You're trying to mix a statutory world with a common law world. You're trying to mix them both. And what's going to happen is, like I say to people, is just make it simple. Say I'm a man. I'm making a claim. I'm a man. I'm making a claim. Then I'm going to say I'm a man, Karl Lentz. Well, okay, he's saying that he's a man, Karl Lentz. Okay, so he's probably German. Okay, and he's a dad, probably, and the son. Okay, I just diminished myself from being a man. Then I said I'm a citizen of Virginia. Okay, there you go. So now he's not just like this man who, you know, the greatest man on the world. Now he's a guy in Virginia, in a little county called Rockbridge, in a city called Dent. And I happen to be residing now in a penitentiary. So I went from being at the highest status position I could possibly be in law, a man, and I diminished my capacity by saying I'm an inmate in a correctional facility. So now I'm basically saying that I'm a ward of a state, and I basically have no rights because I did somebody wrong. Why in God's name would I keep dropping my status down? I keep putting all these more words and words on top of me and all this paperwork on top of me. Why don't I just say I'm a man and you're doing me wrong and I order you to stop? There you go. And that's the whole beauty of a common law trial by jury. That you just convene your neighbors, you get 12 people to seat there and say, you got to stop them from doing it. Now we'll get the sheriff's ass after you and he's got a posse behind him and you ain't coming into our damn county. We don't give a damn what bank you are. We don't give a damn what federal government you are. The sheriff says you ain't coming across. You ain't coming across. Everybody knows how wonderful the sheriff stuff is. You just got to get...
They use the sheriff to kick us out twice.
Because you're playing lawyer. And he has to do it. He has no choice. If he doesn't execute that judgment or that warrant, you could turn around, or the bank is going to turn around and sue that sheriff, and they're going to personally take the sheriff's house and the sheriff's car and the sheriff's pension and the sheriff's paycheck. If he doesn't do what the bank got an order or a judgment from a court, he's going to be liened, and he's going to have his house stripped down. That's what's going to happen to him. It's nothing. You're doing it because you don't know how to hold a court. Like this poor lady from Canada. I was hoping she was going to come on tonight and explain to you people, you know, what happened to her in court. And she just couldn't hold court. That's all her problem was, that she couldn't hold it. But Greg's on the phone, so that's good, because Greg's a good talker. And I'm trying to say, I can't find that lady from Canada on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And but Greg, you want to try to help her a little bit here, man?
Hello?
Greg, well, I'm just asking Greg to unmute himself. Because he's going through a bank foreclosures. He's got his house doing the old foreclosure. He's got a couple of days before, you know, they're going to drop the hammer on him. So that's why I try to get Greg to come on and talk to you folks. And because he'll tell you his stuff that he did exactly like you're doing, and then he's trying to mix it with my stuff. So he took your method as far as he could, and it crashed. Now he's trying to mix the both and see if he could get something coming out of it. So maybe he can tell you.
Well, that's not exactly correct. I'm not trying to mix the both.
Isn't it both?
the way that I explained it to one of our friends up here that was also helping with the administrative process was the way I look at it now, and you know, hats off to Karl for helping me, you know, really start seeing, you know, the whole big picture, because this whole educational process that all of us have been going through in terms of law, legal, rights, duties, powers, all that stuff. It's a huge ocean. It's a huge ocean. And all of us start learning the same way, from the stuff that the system wants us to learn from grade school through high school through college. So, it's nobody's fault that we end up ignorant, because that's the way the system wants us to be, because the system is very happy with us staying nice and easy to control. But anyway, the way I look at it now is that there's this big ladder of jurisdiction. And if you just picture a ladder, up at the top of the ladder is God, and down at the bottom of the ladder is hell. And there's every jurisdiction in the world in between. And because I'm a man, I've got hands and feet, God willing, and I can climb up and down that ladder. And I can go sit on rung number 2 right next to God and be a man. Or I can take steps down and be a person. I can go down and, establish an LLC and be a corporation. I can take an office and be a servant to people. I can do all these different things, and I've got the choice as a man to go and don those different garments, don those different jurisdictions. It doesn't mean that I'm locked into it. Nobody puts a handcuff on me on any of those rungs and says, you're stuck here now. All right? That's what the system teaches us through the educational process, is once you choose a jurisdiction, you put a handcuff on you and on that rung, and there you are for the rest of your life. Okay? Sorry, you can't go up, you can't go down. And that's not true. Okay? So as a man, you can be like running up and down that ladder. And we go down a couple rungs to be a person, and then we go down a couple rungs to have an estate, and we go down a couple rungs to interact in commerce. And we do all these different things, and we try to do them in honor according to the rules at that level of the ladder. Okay? If we follow all the rules at that level of the ladder, and the other people at that level of the ladder cheat us or are dishonorable, and we can't find an answer at that level because the fix is in, the only solution is to take a couple steps up the ladder to a more powerful jurisdiction. All right? I mean, theoretically, you could go all the way to the top, look at the sky and say, God, strike him dead. But there's a very long list of appeals with God right now for people asking God to strike other people dead. So he's really backordered on that. So, it might be a very long time before a tornado or a hurricane takes out your enemy. So the next best thing is to just don your skin, get naked and be a man, and just show up as a man, which is the second highest authority in the universe under God.
I comprehend that. And I did it as a man and a woman, okay?
Right. Well, man, I use generically. Okay.
I understand. I understand. Okay. And I've claimed protection of the Bill of Rights and named the particular people in this particular case as wrongdoer respondent. But they're putting me in the wrong court. They're not allowing me access to the common law. And if I'm not making this simple enough, then I can say, okay, we live here. We developed this land. We have possession of it and the home, and it's ours. I mean, I can keep it that simple. I was looking for an injunction to protect us from the sheriff coming and kicking us out again. And then I was making a monetary claim for trespass of $5,000 per day per person since the first eviction. So it is, it's figured out that particular way. And based on that, it's between $2 and $3 million. So that, but the thing is, I can't get the court to put me in the right common law people's court, court of record.
Well, but you're not gonna.
Greg, tell them about what I was talking with you the other day about. I said, Greg, just throw a stay in the mix, and it just gives you a little bit of breathing time. Just tell them, doing a stay.
Karl was suggesting is just put an order in for a stay to stop the bus.
An order for stay.
Yeah.
Okay,
You put an order in.
I put an order. I put an order
Correct.
in, but okay, just a stay of what? Just a stay of eviction?
A stay of everything, whatever's going on.
Okay. All right. And I would put that into the federal district court?
You would put it into the same filing as where the action is taking place that has supposedly given the bank and their attorneys the right to do what they're doing.
Okay, so that would be the lower unlawful detainer justice court, so called.
Okay.
Order for stay.
Right.
Okay. But that's not the federal district court.
No, but you're not in that court.
Well,
No. Okay, now we got to talk about in and at. All right? You're not in the court. You're coming at the court. You're coming from your court. Your court is ordering their court to stay.
Okay. Now, I understand about my court as a man or a woman, that we have our own court, all right? And I've done that before to no avail. Okay? So, but this order for stay, as the movement, it's like we're looking for one of their people to verify it, to put their stamp on it as well. I don't think I even need that, but I seem to, because although I did do a cease and desist order to the sheriff, and that seemed to help Monday when they came, and they did not come onto the land or the home, and they did seem to respect that based on that and the land patent and the notice that I put out to them by way of someone else through my door. So,
okay. Now, did you go through a full administrative process where you did the whole TILA and RESPA thing, where you
no, I didn't do RESPA. I didn't do that.
You asked the creditor to prove.
I did a removal of their. I did a revocation of their power of attorney and trusteeship on the deed of trust and also the promissory note. And then I did do an administrative.
Yeah, I did that back in 2009. I fired all the trustees, appointed new trustees, did all that stuff, and we lived happy as a clam till from 2010. They didn't say boo to us, and then at the end of last year, they did a fast move to go and make a motion and bring this thing forward. All right. So I don't know what transpired between the time that we put the brakes on it with a foreign judgment and the end of last year, or maybe they were just trying to just throw it out there to see what would happen, But nonetheless, we're back in play with them. I thought it was over and done with, and we were, like I said, it was just over, and it just popped up again. So I'm kind of learning on my feet on this step myself. My trustee went into the court and basically told them on the day that they were petitioning for a judgment to have a foreclosure and sale that they couldn't do it because there was an existing foreign judgment in the file. And the plaintiff's attorney, the bank's attorney, goes, well, there's something in the file, but it's certainly not from this court, basically admitting that it's there. And the judge refused to give my trustee audience because he goes, you have no standing here. And it's like, oh, he's had standing for 3 years. It's been on the record. It's been in the court. It's been filed at the county recorder, the Secretary of State of Illinois, everywhere. It's like, you guys are just playing like you have your head in the sand. Mm-hmm. And so the judge is like, well, I guess I have to do this. So, well, as I say, the judge is perfect. The judge couldn't possibly have done that because the judge can do no wrong. The judge is a theoretical perfection on paper. Okay, and when that black robe that you wear is perfect, but the guy inside it, he can screw up. All right, and so the only way that judgment could have been passed in favor of the bank's attorneys was if the man stepped out of the robe and did it himself. That's the only way. And so that's why the guy.
Let me just tell the lady, because you got a little bit away from the stay of the execution, a stay of judgment, or just the stay.
Sure.
what you're doing is you're basically telling either one of the courts you want to go to with that. What you're basically saying is that there is like an appeal, or there's the matter being tried in another court, so don't execute the judgment from this court while there's still a pending case or claim being heard in another court.
Okay.
Greg going a little off on me there. I just wanted to tell you to do a stay. And all the stay is, and then what you basically say is you tell the court that it's going to be extreme hardship, and you will suffer irreparable harm if this execution of this judgment goes while a case is pending in another tribunal. And they were trying to still negotiate a settlement with these people. We want to pay our debts that we believe are due, and we're still trying to administrate this on the private side. So at this time, can you please? That's all the stay is. That's all you're doing. You're just saying stay. And like I said, all your paperwork, like Greg was saying, all this paperwork that him and his buddies do, I'm telling you, you guys could be the master of paperwork, just like this lady in Canada, master of paperwork. That's only 5%. The other part is when you get when you have to speak and you have to talk to somebody in a black robe or a court clerk, they could see right through you that you're all paper, that there's no substance. You have no idea what you're really doing. You're just making the stuff up as you're going along, basically. So you're going to lose your common law standing because you're going to start talking like an attorney. And they're like, oh, we thought we had the Queen of England here. The Queen of England is going to say 2 words, and we're going to snap to attention. You start going off on 50 pages, 5 pages, 2 pages, more than 1 page, you realize they're not dealing with the King or Queen of England. They're dealing with somebody who thinks they want to be an attorney. A man only says, a man makes an order. Just like when the judge passes down an order, he says, I sentence you to 15 years to life. Next case, how long was that sentence? He said in 6 words? And that's where you're going to spend the rest of eternity until the day you die. He didn't write 1,000 pages of why you're going to sit in a cage. He just said, okay, this court orders you to spend the rest of your life in jail. Both gone. There you go. You got to show where you are the court. It's the granny court, or it's whatever. I don't remember what your name was there, but it's the what's your name?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I said what's your name?
Oh, my name is Tricia.
Okay, it's the Tricia court. Tricia is going to create an order, and like I said to people a million times, when you go to McDonald's, you want a Happy Meal. Are you going to give the guy a 500-page order, a 500-page suit, and say how to grow the cow and what kind of soil to use and what kind of manure should fertilize the fields? No, you're going to tell him, I want a Happy Meal. Here's my $2, give me it. And that's what all these stays are and all these orders are. Everything's just boom, 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 done. Take a look at a template of an order from one of these courthouses. They're 2-3 lines. They give you to write the order on. And that's it. You don't have to back it up with all this other nonsense. The other side, if they say, we don't understand your order, can you please explain it? It's like if you walk into McDonald's and you say, I'd like a shrimp scampi and some nice down Perignon with some fava beans. They'd be like, what? Can you please explain your order? You not know where you are. You're in McDonald's. We can't do that. Is that what you want from us? You're in oh, wait a second. You want to go next door to the common law fava bean French bistro. You're in the wrong place. This is McDonald's. This is all we do. We don't recognize you here. We don't recognize your order. We can't help you here. You're going to have to go someplace else. So then if you go next door to the common law, you go to the common law place, and all of a sudden you start ordering Happy Meals and fava beans. You're going to be, lady, what are you doing? You're just confusing the bejesus out of us. What do you want to do? You know what? This is just all frivolous filing. You know what? Get out of our building. You know what? You're just a nut job. They'll throw you out of McDonald's. They'll be patient with you people as long as they can tolerate it. But, I couldn't imagine these poor clerks and these poor judges having to decipher what you want to do. You got 10,000 different things going on here. You got 5 different jurisdictions in the first sentence. And you want me to sit here and decipher it? Come on, lady, what do you want? What do you want from me? It's just like asking a guy at McDonald's. Come on, what do you want from me, man? Come on, pick the menu. You got 7 choices. What do you want? Stop coming up with this crazy stuff. This is all I could do for you. You don't have no standing to do that here. You're standing in the wrong line. You should get over to the other courtyard, go across the courtyard and go get what you want over there. Maybe they could help you. So like I said, make it simple for these people. 1 page done, boom.
It is the order of court for stay and cease and desist terminating all actions and claims to the address pending resolution of this case claim. Is that simple enough?
You just say you just want to file a stay. You say you want to stay at execution. Say for an unlawful detainer. This is more like an unlawful detainer now, right?
Okay.
This is what you got going on, I presume. I'm just guessing. This is some sort of stay of execution for an unlawful detainer, and they're trying to get you out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is what you do.
It's called a writ of restitution is what it is, and an order for eviction for removal.
Right, okay. That basically goes along the same lines. What all you're basically saying is you tell the courts that there's a case being tried in another venue, in another jurisdiction. Or
I would put the stay of execution in the lower court and also in the federal district court.
Well, who's got the judgment? The lower court's got the judgment, and
yes, the lower court, and they're going for it again, even because we pretty much rebutted it and excused it before. To
me, it doesn't matter if it's a higher court, equal court. I don't care. Whatever court has got the judgment against you and is going to drag you off your property, that's the court you want to order them to stay, and don't execute. Don't let the sheriff's department, because the sheriff's department only moves under the orders that come from that court clerk. If the order doesn't come from the court clerk, he can't do anything. He just sits there with his hands on his butt waiting for an order that she's going to give him. You just tell that clerk court, please stay the order of execution because there is a procedure going on in federal court, Mexico court, Guatemala court. I don't care. But you just say, and if you don't stay the order, the bank obviously is not going to suffer any irreparable harm, damage, or injury. But if you let this order executor all over me, it's going to be irreparable harm to my property. So the district court lady, depending on how nice you've been to her in the past, that's why I say to people, if you don't know how to act in court, guess what? They're going to run you like a freight train, and they got the power to do it. And you can just cry all you want and say they're cruel. How did you act when you got there? And that's what I tell people. You don't know decorum and how to behave in public. Your mommy didn't teach you right. I can't help you with that. So the clerk will say, give her a thumbs up. You know what? That lady's a real nice lady. She's been real nice to us, and she's trying real hard. And you know what? Toss her a bone and give her a stay of execution. Because honestly, the execution's done. They can slam it in any time they want. What are you going to do about it? If it was you, if somebody owed you money, and somebody owed you $10 million, and they were sitting on a $2 million farm, you better believe you'd want that sheriff to execute that order and throw those clowns off that farm. They say, oh, it was my great-grandpappy's farm. I don't care. You owe me $10 million bucks. Sheriff, seize her property and throw her off, and I mean now. You're not going to let the lady hold you up for $2 million for years at a time. You're going to say execute it and do it now. 21 days, honey. Give me the money or you're gone. So that's the only good thing is that you can say, well, we're dealing with a bank, and you can basically say stay the order because, honestly, the bank is not going to really feel any pain by me still trying to work with them on the private side. Now, if you guys want to go down silly land and say there's no such thing as money and credits, I'm not going there. I am not going there. That's such a waste of an argument. It's not even funny. But what you could do is, like, you could say, hopefully, maybe the district court lady isn't in collusions with the bank. She's not getting a kickback from the real estate people, and maybe she'll actually feel bad for you if she likes you. You guys got to understand, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with animals. A cat is going to do what a cat does. A cattle's going to do what the cattle do. A man or woman's going to do what they do. They're motivated by something. Now, this clerk lady's going to be motivated by something. She's going to say, well, she's always been nice and polite. Or she's I feel bad for her. Or these horrible banksters. She still has an opinion. And you got to hope that the lady that you're dealing with on the other side of the window is a decent person. That's all you can hope for. Which is, when it comes down to it, you're still dealing with another human being who's no different than you. They can still have hates and prejudice and animosities like you have towards them. They could have the same feelings back towards you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at their mercy. And that's the way this country's set up right now. And I'm just trying to show you people how to get it over to, like I said, get it in front of a jury. So you want to stay the execution and then the judgment, and then while they're staying it, you want to, well, like I said, it's up to you. There's not one damn thing I'd put in any type of court as any kind of quiet claim, any nonsense. I'd attach it as an exhibit, maybe. But all I'd do is make a simple claim. That's my land, that's my property, and no man is being harmed and injured by me staying on that land. And if the bank wants to come forward and make a claim that they've been harmed by me occupying this part of the planet, let them come forward in 21 days with their answer, and I'll negotiate some sort of settlement with them to stay on this land. If no answer comes within 21 days, I'm going to drag them in here in front of a jury, and well, hell, a bank just get a summary judgment. A bank, you just get a summary judgment, default judgment, because they'll never grow or settle lungs and never be able to avoid the judgment against you, because this is a common land.
That's why you name in the federal district courts, you name people. You don't name corporations or companies.
I don't want to explain corporation because I am a corporation. So, like I said, I don't want to go down that silly land. But what I'm saying is, to speak in court, you've got to be in common law for it to be pressed upon a record. It has to be done with law. It has to be viva voce. You have to speak it and press it. You can't make Frank Sinatra couldn't make a record without the words coming out of his mouth. That's right. The way. That's common law. I don't care about all your silly paper. Your silly paper can't speak. I don't care about the bank's silly paper. It can't speak. Can it speak in the administrative court? Yes. Can it speak in tax court? Yes. Can it speak in bankruptcy court? Yes. Can it speak in common law? Common? No. It can't. Does your paperwork fly every place else? Yes. Right. Now you're trying to bring in common law. And now what? Now what's that supposed to do? Is it going to speak? Is it going to take the stand? Can I cross-examine it? Is the quiet title going to talk back to me?
No.
No, of course not. So then you're trying to say, well, I got all this stuff, common law. No, you got your word, your beliefs, and your thoughts, and your heart, and your mind, and hopefully the community around you. That's what you got in common law. That's all you got. That's common law. If you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. Then the people don't care. I guarantee. Like I said, the Trenzi versus Pagliaro. And Greg, what's that case? That Green River case?
No, Credit River. Credit River, Minnesota.
Yeah, I've used that before. When we did do a U.S. District Court case as a plaintiff as far as protection for a period of time, and they eventually dismissed the case and would not give us our trial by jury there. That was the first court we were so. And I used the Credit River decision as well in that. But obviously to no avail. So
they can't dismiss your case.
Well, they did. Okay.
They dismissed their case. They didn't dismiss your case. They can't. They have no right to dismiss your claim. If you have a claim, they can't dismiss your claim. They dismiss their case. They have no right to touch your claim unless you surrender.
That means that they converted your claim to a complaint and they dismissed your complaint.
Right. Or you surrendered your claim to them. And you said, at no time did I ever surrender my claim to anybody in this building.
Well, they did. Yeah, when they did the judgment and the order, I did send those back rebutted based on the fact that the so-called lenders had real no documentation or no standing. And
what I'm saying is, you use this word again like rebutted. See, I don't use words like that. Can I go off on you guys with that, sub-rejection and rebuttal? Oh, sure I can. And, but why? This is simple. You just had to say to them, oh, you believe somebody in this building, this federal building, somebody in this building believes that I surrendered my claim to them. Who's saying that I surrendered my claim for somebody in this building to touch or to judge or adjudicate upon or try? No, I thought I made it clearly quite on a caption on the lawsuit. Please say trial by jury. Are you a one-man trial by jury? No. Then what are you doing? Who did this to me? Who interfered with my right to a trial by jury? Make them answer it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Just say, who's the man, who's the woman, who put on the big boy pants and decided that they're going to interfere with my right to trial by jury that's established and protected and secured to me by the Seventh Amendment? There you go. Who put on the big boy pants and did that?
Well, that's one of their federal district court judges, I can tell you, and now it seems to be the unlawful detainer judge as well.
One step at a time. You guys have the big problem of writing these ridiculous letters, asking hundreds and hundreds of questions. Why can't you just ask one question? Because, like you said, okay, when this thing got dismissed, that's exactly what simple as I do. Who can show or who can prove that I surrendered my claim to anybody in this building for adjudication, to judge, to open up a review or give me their opinion. I don't care anybody's opinion. I said trial by jury. What part of trial by jury didn't you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, who did this to me? And you just send them a letter. And you say, well, we did, according to Bob versus General 1992 or under the Alabama Code or Virginia Code. I don't care. This is a common law claim. You write back and say, maybe you did not understand. Did I not make this claim simple enough? I am a man. I have been harmed. They used a forged instrument to interfere with my property. What part of that says something about Virginia or Alabama or United States or Mexico? Show me. Show me. Show me what this was moving under. This was moving under the common law. This wasn't moving under any form of jurisdiction other than the law that's common to me and to that trial by jury. You're trying to bring in some other jurisdictions' opinions. You're bringing opinions from the Supreme Court. You're bringing opinions from the federal courts. You're bringing opinions from state courts. I don't give a rat's ass about their opinions. They're lovely opinions, but I don't give a crap. This is my claim. This is what I'm claiming in front of the jury that I'm entitled to. This is by right. Who are you to tell me that it's not mine by right? You're nobody. Back the hell off. Let my claim go in front of the jury. Leave me alone. I'm going to sue you. It's that simple. You don't got to put a mountain rule. Look at these quiet towers. I mean, going there with this silly stuff. It's simple. This stuff is way too simple. Maybe it's because you're asking me the question and you don't hear it while I'm saying it. Maybe you got to listen to it back again a couple of times. I say, well, now I think I'm understanding what Carl's saying. I know Greg's catching on. I know Greg's not doing any ridiculous. Greg's stuff is getting really good. I mean, it's pretty funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny compared to what he used to do like that. He was like, oh, my God, Greg, stop. And he wrote me something yesterday. He said he couldn't sleep. He wrote, like, the last 3 or 4 paragraphs was starting. I was like, wow, man, this guy's drinking my Kool-Aid, man. It's starting to click a little bit here.
Great.
But it takes a while, guys. It's not going to come overnight. Greg went to all the seminars like you guys did. I told him, who's this guy? I was like, oh, I went to his seminar, him and his wife. He's a big guy. Greg went and followed everything you guys did, man. So I understand, that this stuff is hard to mix with my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do it. You guys are trying to do it. Well, what do you say, Greg?
Well, what's the good news is that just because you did a bunch of things in other jurisdictions doesn't mean it was a waste of time.
No, it's a learning process.
Those things, it's more than just a learning process. For example, we did an entire administrative process, being very nice and polite and sending the bank and their lawyers a whole series of requests for them to prove certain things according to what the law is of their franchise. Banks are franchised by the federal government.
Right.
They're supposed to operate within certain rules, and so you can't attack the bank as according to those rules from common law. You attack the bank according to the rules. Okay, so you climb down the ladder to the rung where the banks live, and you do that process at that rung, and you complete that process. And if the bank and their attorneys fail to follow the rules according to what their franchise dictates, they have violated their trust with the federal government. Okay? And if all that is properly documented, done through third parties, neutral witnesses, notary presentment, and in my case, we even concluded with a 3 notary tribunal passing judgment on the entire process, and had that recorded with the courts and recorded with the county and the state. And then the whole thing was perfected, and UCC1 liens were established. So the entire thing is done. It's over and done, signed, sealed, delivered, and technically the bank owes me $5 million. All right? That's their confession. Now, they're ignoring all that.
Of course.
So, of course they're going to ignore all that because it's coming from the jurisdiction of the notary tribunal, not from their circus. Okay?
Right.
Ringling Brothers, it's like before Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey merged. Okay? Our judgment was at the Ringling Brothers circus, and they're at the Barnum and Bailey Circus, and they don't recognize the entertainment in our center ring. And until you can find a way to merge those two circuses into one forum, it's always going to be stuck like that. So the way you merge them is you have this wonderful thing that you did in your circus, and it's valid, and you have to go and then find a particular rule or regulation that they're bound to in their circus, and that is called the full faith and credit clause.
Yeah.
Every single court is required to give full faith and credit to any other valid, lawful jurisdiction. Okay? And we call them foreign jurisdictions. And foreign doesn't mean France or Spain or Mexico. It means anything other. If you look at the rules, if you look at even in the United States, you go through their own codes. They say the United States and the states are foreign to each other. As simple as that. All right? You know, it's a foreign object in your eye. Okay? Something that's not part of what's normally there is foreign. And we just have a tendency of thinking as foreign as being international. But, and you could argue the case that we are international. And as Karl says, he's his own state, and I'm my own state, and I'm a corporation, and I'm a person, I'm whatever the devil I'd like to be. And the wonderful thing about being a man is that you have the flexibility to move yourself. It's just like you have a really, really big walk-in closet with all kinds of cool costumes that you can put on. And you can just go pick out which one you want to wear today.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Great. We got to do that one day. You got to remind me, man. We got to do a foreign judgment show. We could do hours on that because that's a damn good one. And that's how a lot of you guys could get this stuff. But like I said to the lady, if the court clerk might ask you when you want to do the stay, they might actually have I was just thinking they might have a printed form, and if she says if you want the proceedings, she might actually use this phrase. It's called held in abeyance. And that's the same. That's what you want. She might do a writ, or she might ask you, do you want to do do you want it held in abeyance? And that way, at least you kind of an idea, because that's a common word here in Virginia they use a lot. Oh, and I don't know where you live, so I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. If she says something to you, just say, good way to go.
So where I was going with this was that I established through my trustees a lawful foreign judgment that has the power to withstand a challenge all the way to a Supreme Court. The Supreme Court cannot overrule the summary judgment of the 3-member notary tribunal. They cannot. All right? So, if the Supreme Court can't overturn it, why can Chancery Court ignore it? Right? They are failing in their duty and their oath and their honor. All right?
Yeah.
And so this is actually a federal crime, what they're doing.
Yeah, if you want, like I said, Greg, why don't we do this like on Saturday, man? We talk about this because I think that's a great thing. But like I said, just make sure there's nobody here with family questions because I do this like for moms and grannies this time of day.
So to conclude, all those things that we have done in these lower jurisdictions are available to us in common law as evidence and proof of our good faith, of our willingness to work with people, and their failure to respond in honor.
Right.
And that's the evidence. You don't say that that's the base. You don't go and cite this rule and that rule and this rule and that rule in common law. You say, you stepped on my foot. All right? And it hurt. Had to go to the foot doctor, and he had to peel my toenail off, and it cost me $150. Right. Okay. There's your claim.
Hey.
Now, you don't have to go into explaining why you stepped on my foot because you were mad at me because I was looking at your sister funny.